good people, welcome back. Yesterday we did introductions to loops, and we did a few writings on loops, what loops are, and how they work, steps that are taken, or steps are covered in a loop. So today I'd like us get started with while loops. Basically, I'd use the word in English. Okay, basically it's an English word, while, right? So basically what this means is as long as we have our condition being true, our statement will be executed until we have a false statement. So while I'm trying to see the definition which we can use. So the period during which, okay, I can say the period which might be a description which matches our while, as long as I'd use that as an explanation to a while, right? So what does while do? So what is it actually? It's basically a construct that executes repeatedly, right? Repeatedly. Actually executes. We have an intended code, block of code, as long as the expression is true, right? So as I said, we have an expression or a condition. As long as the expression is true, the block of code will execute. Just will keep should keep executing as long as it's true. If you want to print 1 + 1 or 2 + 2, whichever block of code you have, it will keep executing as long as the condition is true, expression is true. Yeah. We have intended code. For example, using this example, this is intended. So as long as the intended, that will what we mean. But that's what we mean by this intended block of code. So if once we've gone through the loop, right? It keeps checking. So as long as it's true, it keeps checking. The loop goes on. Basically, it's a loop. So as long as the while loop it runs once, it checks if it's still true. It runs again until when the expression becomes false. So if the loop expression or condition is true, if the loop expression is true, right? So let's say it has executed once. So if it's true, the loop would execute again, right? Basically, it goes back and back, keep checking the condition if it's true or false. So if the loop expression is true or the loop condition is true, it executes again. That goes on until the loop expression is false. execution, proceeds, body, right? So basically it will first deal with the loop as long as it prints true. As long as it prints true, when it prints false, it goes to the next, right? Okay, I will write an example in a bit for us to see what exactly we mean by that. So basically, as we said here, as we said before in our introduction to loops, once it goes round and round and round and it keeps checking for true, that's called iteration. It's called iterate. So it keeps iterating as long as the expression, the loop expression is the loop expression is true. Yeah. I hope you clear up there. So let's do an example of a while loop. I hope our explanation is clear. We did the loop right now here. So actually, let's first write the syntax of how does it execute. So we'll write while, then we have our expression here, right? Then we have now the idented block. So basically we have here first we have loop body is here, as we said. Sorry, loop body, which executes if the loop expression is true. It executes to true. Then we have statement. Basically, this should not be intended, but to what happens if the expression executes to true, like it becomes false. So segment executed expression evaluates to false. So basically this is the syntax we follow, and as we said here, if the loop expression is true, this one. So while this is true, it keeps executing this, right? It keeps running this while the expression is true. Else if it becomes false, it comes to the body. Once it becomes false, it goes to the expression body below, this one right here. So we'll do an example. Then we'll write the example before we go to our file, basically. So to get us started, let's do a simple. I'm trying to. So we're going to say count is equals to 1, right? So okay, let me try and before we go to example, let's try and see the steps before we go to example. Steps in our while loop. What happens in our while loop? Yeah. So now, so we have conditions, right? So step 1 is evaluate the condition. The one we keep saying, as long as it's true, the while loop is iterated. So evaluate the condition. If it's true, if true, said here, if this is true, so step 1 is evaluate the condition here. So evaluate the condition. If it's true, then you execute this. Yeah. So we have that step. What happens? So if we had variables, normally we have variables here before this. So if we have variables, you update the variables. Update the variables. Even. So basically, once you have executed the loop body once, you update the variable, right? Because something will happen here. You update the variable, then check for the expression again, right? Then this is done again. So you do update the variable. What happens is that if the variable is true, you run the body again, right? If the variable is true, if the condition is true, first you update the variable, then you check the condition. If it's still true, run the body, right? So step 4 is you repeat again. Repeat from step 1. Once you've the variable, once you've done this, you go back to step 1. You evaluate the condition. If true, do that. That's the loop. Then finally, if false, yeah, you exit the loop and go to the next body. Create the loop. Yeah. So this is basically what happens in a while loop. I hope that's clear what happens in a loop. Yeah, so we can now go to our example as I initially. So what happens? We have a variable. Remember in step 3 we said evaluate the variable. So here we have a variable, right? A variable called count. Sorry. Evaluate count is equals to 1. So it's equals to 1. Right? So we have count. We have variable name count, which is assigned to 1. We said a single equals to his assignment, double is equals to his comparison. So count is equals to 1. Now let's do a while loop. So 1 count, right, is less than or equals to 5. Right? Now this is the expression or the condition. Right? This is what we keep checking. Now where does the body comes? This is the loop. You print. What do you print? This is what is being printed if the expression is true. So you print count is, then you basically just our variable here, right? So what is being done here? What's being done here is count is equals to count plus 1. But we did say that if you want to make this smaller or shorter, we want to say count is equals to count plus. You have a plus here, right? Sorry. Yeah. So this is what I just said. This is the count equals to count plus 1. So what's being executed here is we have a variable. Okay. Let's follow the steps. Evaluate the condition. This is the condition. So if true, if this is true, count equals count plus 1. So the first loop will run. It will say count is 1, so it will be 1 plus 1. It will become 2. It still checks it's less than or equals to 5. It will run again. It checks. It updates this to 2. Then it checks is it less than or equals to 5. The condition is true. It runs again. It will become 3. It runs again to become 4. Runs again to become 5. Right? I hope that's clear. So and how here now when it gets to 5, what happens? Let's print and then we say done. Now we're going to do this example. We're going to have this in our file, and then we see what's being executed. Now I'll write while one.py, so that we'll have our other loops, then we'll, so basically I'll have this, so I'll just yeah. So let me get this. So basically I just brought the steps here so that we can use it in our example. Now we can execute this, right? So we will go to loops, let's say Python, Python while. Line 2. Let me just that such condition. So what we have in our command line right here, right? So let's go back to our example. We did say steps when evaluating a while loop. The first thing is to evaluate the condition. This is the condition, right? So the count is less than or equals to 5, right? So if true, it will run the body. So the body, it says print count equals to print count is, then you print the count. Now it will have been okay. So the count will be, the first one it will start with 1 before being updated, then you update. It will come and run again, it will be 2, then you update, right? So this will be, to check this, it's 1. That's why it's being printed. It's being printed, then updated next. That's why our first print is not true. So had we had this yeah, what do you think would happen if we had it before, if we had updated it before printing it, right? So what happens? Basically it will start from 2. It will go up to 6 because it shows us it updates first, right? And then it prints it. So basically then it will, once it checks it, so first the count is 1, but once we check, we update first, then but this is not the correct way. We first have to print it, then we update. So this is the correct way to do it. First print, and then our condition will be true up to here. So I hope that's clear for that first example of a while loop. I'm going to do a recording on examples of while loop, and then I'll share it with you. You can go through it, and then we'll get to our more on loops. I hope to see you in the next one. In case of any questions, let me know. Happy coding.